I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network, and this is a breaking news alert. We are now learning some of the details that will be discussed on tomorrow's January 6th committee public hearing. Reminder, it's taking place October 13th. Thursday at 12 Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific time. We will be broadcasting it live here on the MeidasTouch YouTube channel. If you can't watch it live, they're all saved here on the MeidasTouch YouTube channel, but we are one of the most watched destinations for watching the January 6th public hearings. Check it out here on the MeidasTouch Network. Now, to some of the details from multiple reports and multiple sources about what is going to transpire during this January 6th Thursday hearing. We're told this may be the final hearing. It's being described by some on the January 6th committee panel as a closing argument, but some of the major details that are going to be drilled down on is never before seen documents from the Secret Service demonstrating that Donald Trump was aware of the violence taking place at the Capitol building, his decision to ignore it, and in fact, his efforts to try to go there, to arrive at the Capitol, and to engage in the insurrection himself with the insurrectionists, the violent mob, the violent rioters, the violent terrorists, the violent insurrectionists who had stormed the Capitol. We had learned a lot about this from Cassidy Hutchinson during her testimony. Remember, she was the top aide to the former chief of staff, Mark Meadows, and she talked about Trump's efforts to try to show up at the Capitol, declare himself king or emperor, or a scene as absurd as that at the Capitol building, where his plan was to have Vice President Pence, and if Pence wouldn't do it, he would just do it, overturn the valid electors, the certified electors that certified Joe Biden as the president, then bring in these fake electors and declare himself essentially the dictator of the United States. Now, one of the big problematic things that transpired was that the Secret Service had wiped away its cell phone text messages from on or around January 6th. They claimed they were migrating their data to a new server, blah, 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 blah. This is being investigated still. There's no way of recovering these cell phone text messages, which appears to be an unlawful deletion, an unlawful spoliation. And the fact that the Secret Service at that time would engage in a data deletion process knowing the import of January 6th is something beyond disturbing, but they still had and they still preserved their internal communications and over 1 million non-text messages like emails. So about 1 million internal communications other than the text messages were turned over to the January 6th committee. The January 6th committee. By the way, there was a new head of Secret Service that Biden installed. They have then been cooperative in turning over records. And some of these records that have been turned over, though, that the January 6th committee is going to discuss and show are really, really, really damaging and incriminating for Donald Trump. You have email exchanges which are likely going to be demonstrated between Trump's Secret Service detail leader, Bobby Engel, and Bobby Engel's supervisor, somebody by the name of Ronald L. Rowe. And these emails basically asking if the Secret Service was able to quash Donald Trump's order and Donald Trump's desire to show up at the Capitol building. Engel had to override Trump after Trump gave his speech at the Ellipse, and then thereafter, Trump still tried to get to the Capitol building himself, and the Secret Service tried to stop him and had to stop him from doing that. Also, emails demonstrating that Donald Trump was aware, the Secret Service was aware of the violence taking place at the Capitol, and that indeed Trump wanted to be there with the violent rioters, with the violent insurrectionists, and encouraged that conduct, as instead of immediately asking that to stop or addressing the public, intervening, and he spent hours and hours and hours literally doing nothing and allowing these violent insurrectionists that he encouraged, he inspired, he caused to engage in this conduct, which they wanted to kill the vice president and kill our lawmakers. That was the ultimate plan. We are also going to be seeing footage at the January 6th committee of Steve Bannon, of Roger Stone, of others directly connected with Trump's inner circle, basically demonstrating their plans that no matter what the outcome was of the 2020 election, their intention was going to do exactly what transpired, to call into question the results, to spread disinformation, and to try to overturn the results of a free and fair election. So expect a video from Roger Stone to be shown, some video footage of Steve Bannon to be shown, and that these people had documentarians like following them around, and so this stuff was caught on tape, so we should expect to see that. And then finally, we will see, I think, the closing argument that is going to be made by the January 6th committee, putting all of this in context, explaining how Donald Trump was directly involved and directly implicating how close it was for our democracy to be overturned and the various steps that they presented thus far. After this hearing, what we can then expect to take place is the January 6th committee will prepare its full report to the public. That should be coming out within a few weeks of this last hearing, and we will keep you updated if MeidasTouch is going to be doing something, I think, special with regard to the January 6th committee reports, and perhaps coming up with our own reader's guide to the January 6th committee report for everybody. But make sure you check out the January 6th committee hearing, 12 Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, here on the MeidasTouch Network. Check it out on the MeidasTouch Network YouTube channel. That's 12 Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, right here on the MeidasTouch Network. Until next time, I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit the subscribe button right now. Make sure you're subscribed. It's free to subscribe. Also, if you want to support independent media like this, check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch, patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Until next time, I'm Ben Meiselas.
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.